After learning this metal riff that you're about to learn in this video, you're going to be able to do a lot more cool stuff on guitar with not only your rhythms, but your leads too. And that's why I'm calling this a shred metal rhythm lesson. Now, I'm going to break this down into different sections, okay? By the way, in the description of this video, I'll have the timestamp for each section of this video. We're going to hang out for a little while together here, so grab your guitar, and if you need to grab a cup of coffee, do that as well. So let's start by playing this riff out in the open one more time. I'm going to slow it down a little bit, and then we'll chop everything up into pieces. Section 1 of this cool, what I'm calling the shred metal rhythm lesson here. This is probably the most simple part, and this part will actually be repeated as well, so we won't go back over it again. But in any case, we're playing, by the way, in the key of A minor here. I'm in standard tuning. Most of you already know that, but I like to share that. So we're going to be mixing together some alternate picking, and then we're going to be playing what I like to call a variation of power chords in this first section here, okay? And what that means is we're not playing the typical power chord. We're actually changing the second note of that power chord around a little bit, and that gives you some different textures and different characteristics with your guitar riffs, okay? So pretty cool. I love these chords, by the way. So let me just play the chords that we're playing here, okay? And then we'll add the alternate picking to them. This makes it a little bit easier to learn. What are we doing? And I'll put the tabs up here when we do the alternate picking part. I'll throw that all together up here for you. But what we're doing is we're playing all this, by the way, on the D and G strings, okay? Something a little different than your typical super low notes, right? So we're playing this on the D and G strings here, and I am on frets 7 and 5 starting out, okay? So D string 7 and then the G string 5, kind of backwards there. And I'm also positioning my finger on those next frets of the G string there. So 5, 7, and 9. So just like this, look at that stretch. Just watch my hands really close here, okay? That's what we're doing there. Get used to that little stretch there with the pinky finger. We're gonna go up and we're gonna play, okay, again, we're staying on the D and G strings here. We're gonna play frets 5 and 4. And then again, we're gonna move that second note of the power chord around a little bit. And we're gonna do this. Okay, again, we're moving that second note around. We're on frets 4, 5, and 7 there on that G string, while the 5th fret of the D string stays constant. Lastly, we're going to play, and this is a little stretchy poo here too. I didn't mean to rhyme. That sounded kind of cool though. Stretchy poo here too. All right, so we're on the 2nd fret and then the 5th fret. So this right here. Now, the cool part is that's going to be repeated. All those notes we just played is going to be repeated during the second half of the riff. The ending parts to both of those parts, that's what changes. Again, we're going to go over that, guys. So now, let's add the alternate picking in. And what I'll tell you before we even do this is when I'm alternate picking, a lot of times I'm not alternate picking both strings. I'll play the first time, right? Both strings the first time around. But when I start going back and forth alternate picking, I'm typically only picking the one note there, that first note. The reason why I do that, and let me just reiterate here, there is no right or wrong way to do this. I know we're going over one of my songs, I'm showing you how I play it, but if you want to play it a different way, by all means, please go ahead. You know, I want you to bring that creative side out of you, right? And I want you to add your own flavor to it as you go through this. I typically alternate pick one note because it just sounds cleaner that way. There's more clarity. If you try to alternate pick both notes, you can do it and that's fine, but you might not get the clarity as opposed to alternate picking just one note. So just one little tip on alternate picking. Let's add the alternate picking in. Now let's move on to section 2. In this section, I'm going to chop up a little bit shorter here. This is only a series of a few notes that we're alternate picking. So this is kind of where we marry the rhythm and the lead playing kind of together here. So let me play the first part we just learned, and let's flow into that next part that we're going to learn right now, okay? So listen to the end piece that I play here. That's what we're about to learn. Again, section 2 here will be quite simple. We spent some time on section 1 because I wanted to break that down a little further, so I do hope that helped. So in any case here, right after we finish that chord from section 1, that final chord there, right? The frets 2 and frets 5 on the D and G strings. So the notes we're playing on the G string, and we'll break this down real quick, are going to be the 9th fret, okay, 7th fret, 5th fret, 4th fret, and we're going to have an open string because we're doing some hammer-on pull-offs. We're going to alternate pick the 9th fret, then the 7th fret. I'm also palm muting, and I should have mentioned this earlier. We're palm muting just kind of back and forth throughout a lot of this lesson here. Anytime you hear me alternate picking, I'm basically palm muting, okay? So again, palm muting, 9, 7. Then we're going to do a hammer-on pull-off from 5 to 7, back to 5, and we're going to pull off for the open string to ring out there. And then we're going to immediately do another hammer-on pull-off, 4, 5, 4, pull off on the open string. So I'll throw the tabs up here. Let's go through this exercise a few times. Section number 3. So now we're going to play some more single note patterns here, kind of like a lead. And let me play everything all the way through up to that point, and then we'll break it down, okay? Alright, not too complicated here. We're just playing a few notes, again, kind of like what we just did. And actually, we don't have any alternate picking in this, and we also don't have any hammer-ons pull-offs, alright? So I like to kind of just explain that as we go through this. So, okay, we don't have to worry about those techniques. We're just playing some single notes. Pretty easy to figure out. Now we are doing a slight little squill. Sometimes I hit those, sometimes I don't. I don't have my mega distortion on right now, so it'll be kind of a weak squill that you'll hear here. But we do a little squill and a bend, okay? So we start out by playing, again, we're on the D and the G strings, frets 3 and 4. And then we're going to take that 4th fret while we're still on it, okay, on the G string. And that's the part we're going to do a little squill and bend. Bend up kind of a half step there, okay. And as you put this all together, it will flow a lot better. I just want to share that little piece with you. But again, as you throw everything else into it, it'll just kind of flow a lot better. So once we do that little bend with a squill, okay, the 4th fret, half step up, we're going to go to the 2nd fret, and then we're going to just play some notes on the next 2 strings up there, okay, the D and the A string. I'm gonna throw the tabs up as we play this part all the way through together, okay? But I really want you to be able to just hear that and then pick it out by ear. That's my desire for you. I'd like you to be able to do that without looking at the tabs. Yes, we're throwing the tabs up, but I want you to train yourself to where you can hear things and just pick them out the best way you can, okay? So anyway, let's play this last part, okay? All right, we are moving on to section 4 of this riff. And I'm not gonna go through this in detail because it's the exact same as what we started with in section 1. But let's just go through it. Let's play it again, because let's just build a little refresher real quick. I'll just throw up the tabs and we'll play along with that a couple of times, okay? Or 3 or 4 times. And then the next sections after that, of course, those are gonna be a little bit different. So, okay, hang in here with me. Section number 5. All right, so we're going to now play what comes after that part, and this whole riff is there's kind of like 2 parts to it, if you will. There's this part, which we've got some single note endings that end in a particular way, right? That are played a particular way, and then this next half, which we just repeated, right? The first part, we've got different endings with the single note riffs this time. Okay, so I'm gonna play that first part we just played through again, and then I'm gonna play the next single note pattern that we're gonna add to that, and then we'll break it down. Sounds real familiar, and that's because it's almost exactly the same. Okay, remember we played the first time around, I think that was, if I call this out right, that would have been section 2. We played this. Well, this section that we're going over here, it's the same thing, but we're just going up. You're moving that starting note up just 1 fret. Okay, we're going to alternate pick the 10th fret, then the 9th fret. Then we're going to start our hammer-on pull-offs on the 7th fret. So we go 7, 9, 7, 0, okay, followed by 5, 7, 5, 0. So let's play this through. I'll throw the tabs up. Let's play this through just a couple of times here, okay? All right, our 6th and final section of this, what I'm calling the shred metal riff here. So we end this whole thing a little differently. You notice there's kind of like a pattern this whole thing follows, right? From the first half to the second half. But let me play this thing all the way through and just notice the last few notes that we're going to be doing, and that's what we'll cover in this 6th and final section here. And actually that very last part, I go to a different part of the song on that, but let's just learn the basis here, okay? So we do play this chord again here, right? We are on, again, the D and G strings, frets 3 and 4. We do play that again, but instead of doing this, we do this. After we played that chord, okay, again, the D strings, the D and G strings, frets 3 and 4, after we play that, we're going to head over back to the D string here, 5th fret. Now, we're going to do a little gallop here. You guys know I love my gallops, and we just sort of sneak it in. The gallop's like that 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's just like a real quick and snappy, right? Okay, so we're doing that starting, the key to this here is we're actually changing notes in the middle of the gallop, so. All right, so we're starting the gallop on the 5th fret of the D string here, right? And we're gonna 1, 2, right, down, up, but then that final downstroke of the gallop, we're gonna move over to the 3rd fret, okay? And then we go 2, 3, 2, and then we're gonna go to the next string over the A string, 3, 2, and kind of finish there, okay? So let's put the tabs up and let's play this part. The way I end this again is probably a little off from the tabs, and I apologize because I actually go into a different, different progression after this, okay, in the actual song, which we'll talk more about that at the end here. All right, one last section number, what is this? I believe it's 7. Hopefully I got that right. Let's go through the entire riff together. Let's do this. Alright guys, it's time for our guitar chat, but real quick, if you do not have my free practice guide called Metal Riffs and Licks, grab a copy of that. There is a link in the description of this YouTube video. That guide has helped thousands of my YouTube subscribers. I give that away to all my YouTube subscribers, so grab a copy of that. Now, if you have my free practice guide, you might want to check out my online guitar courses. I have online guitar courses at metalmastermind.com. I have a beginner's guitar course called Metal Guitar Apprentice that takes you through the fundamentals, and not only that, it has you applying these techniques to the fundamentals in a gradual process. So if you're new at metal guitar, or if you need to revisit those fundamentals, that's a great course for you. I also have Metal Riff Master. This has over 80 new metal riffs. They're not all in the same key. We go over some different techniques and strategies and that sort of thing. So check those out. Links are in the description below. The riff you just learned is from a song off my latest album, Overcometh. The track is called Ja Yin Yin, which means, hey, calm down, just keep a cool head in Thai language. And that's part of a lesson that you had prior to this one, where we just went over those chords that we were playing, kind of the same concept. But what I did here is I took the riff to just a little bit different level here, okay? I just kind of took the same riff and added some spice to it. And that's a cool songwriting and riff writing strategy for you to use. Those times where you're like, okay, I've got this riff, but nothing else really fits with it. Well, take that riff and maybe just add something else to it, or even take away from it. Maybe you wrote the complicated riff to start with. Well, maybe the next part of that could be just playing out a few notes of that, or maybe holding out the power chords, whatever. But that's just a really great strategy to use which this happens to us all, myself included. It's like, I got this cool riff, but nothing seems to fit. Well, try that when you're writing your next riff and you just kind of get stumped. Now, if you haven't seen the lyric video for this song, I've got it up there on YouTube. You can go check that out. I appreciate that. And if you didn't catch the lesson before this, well, I'll have that up there for you. Make sure you go check that out. I want to say thank you so much for watching my videos. Until the next time, always keep it metal and keep playing music.